this is Miss Walsh, your friendly saxophone teacher. Today I'm going to go over probably the number one most important thing when you're trying to learn how to play the saxophone, and that is how to read a fingering chart. I'm going to be looking at a fingering chart and talking you through how to read it. And I'm also going to show you on the saxophone itself where all of these are. Sometimes we see these symbols and we aren't really sure what they refer to. So I'm going to point at them on the saxophone. You don't want to wait to be able to play your music. Let's say you have an assignment coming up and you don't know a certain note. You don't want to have to wait a whole week to see your teacher or me to find out what that note is. You want to be able to teach yourself. And as a teacher, I don't feel very happy when a student comes in and says, I couldn't do that assignment because I don't know that new note. No, that means that it's a whole week that we lost where we could have been working on that stuff. So let's get into it. I think the best way is to start from the very bottom. We're going to do every single note. We're going to start with our low notes. So the first thing to know, sometimes notes have the exact same fingering, but they're called two different things. So the first note, if you can see my cursor kind of circling around, the first note we're going to look at is A sharp or B flat. No matter which one of those two I say, that's the same sounding note. You're going to ask me, well, why don't they just go with one of them? Why are there both? They have different functions in scales. So for an example, B flat might be the fourth note of a scale, while A sharp might be the third note of a scale. And you have to know that. You actually do have to know which note of the scale it is, because otherwise you're not going to know how to shape those notes. I guess it would be like if you didn't know in speaking how to pronounce A in different words, because A isn't always pronounced the same. I guess it's something like that. It has a different function. All right. I'm also going to talk about which notes are low, which notes are middle, and which notes are high. Because sometimes in lessons I'm talking about a low note and a student thinks it's actually a high note when really it's a low, or it's a middle note or something. It's good to know which ones are which. Some notes on the saxophone, there's three of them, a low, middle, and a high. And for other notes, just a few, there's only a low and a high. There's only two versions of them. Until you get into altissimo, don't worry about that. We will get there. So let's start with low. We're starting with A sharp, also known as B flat, and these are both low, or this one is low. Look here where you have the symbols. So the basic ones are the very basic fingerings that you start off with usually. So I'm going to review where to put your fingers, but you might know this already. So we have a key at the top here. Mine is brass colored, but yours might be the pearl color that you have down here. So whatever that is, there's a first key here. You skip that key and go to the first kind of circular looking key, which usually have pearls like this. Not always. Okay, so that's where finger one goes. Then there's a tiny key next to it. It's very, very small, like your finger doesn't even fit. We skip that key and go to the next one. That's finger two. Then there's only one key left, and you put your ring finger there. That's finger three. Now on this fingering chart, they do 1, 2, and 3 again on the right hand. So I'm going to go with that, although I prefer 4, 5, 6. But on your right hand, there's only 3 keys. So your pointer finger is 1, your middle finger is 2, your ring finger is 3, and they pretty much go right in place, 1, 2, 3. But I like 4, 5, 6. So take a look again at the symbols here. Those are filled in. They're blackened in. So that means those are all down. All right. So then let's look at other stuff that we're putting down. Let's start with this symbol here. It kind of looks like a face, actually. It's got 4 keys that are in a little clump there to the right. in the middle and to the right of those numbers. That corresponds to your left hand pinky keys, which is hard to say fast. Pinky keys. So there's 4 of these here. Hopefully you can see them. There's 4 here. There's a top one, 2 in the middle, usually, not always, but 2 in the middle, and then a big one on the bottom. So the big one on the bottom is filled in. So your pinky goes on the very bottom one. And then let's look at the symbol at the very bottom of all of these symbols. There's 2 keys here. That corresponds to the right hand pinky key. So the one on the bottom there, that pinky is also down. And don't get confused between these two. So bottom. So I'm going to review. A low A sharp or a low B flat is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right hand, low pinky key. Left hand, low pinky key. Okay. Next, let's go to low B. Low B. Let's see what's the same. The middle, the normal fingers are the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look at that group of 4 keys here clustered together. Now, this one is a little challenging to read. You have to remember when you're looking at this fingering chart, it's as if you're looking at your saxophone. So let's not get left and right mixed up. If you're looking at the saxophone, so compare that to what you're seeing. It's the one of the 2 keys in the middle on this left-hand pinky key group. It's one of the ones in the middle, and it's the one, if you're looking at it, it would be on the left. Now, I call that inside because you have to cross over a key to get to it. So it's like inside between this outer key and the saxophone. That's how I think of it. Some people say it doesn't make sense that way. That's what I think. So there's outside. That one's to the right when you're looking at it, and inside to the left when you're looking at it. So it's the left one that's down. And if you look at the symbols to the bottom, these 2, your right hand pinky key, the low one is down. So to review, a low B, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, left hand, inside pinky key, right hand, bottom pinky key. Let's go to a low C. A low C does not have any pinky keys in the left hand. So if you see the group of 4 keys, they're all empty. So those aren't down. But we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right hand, low pinky key. And that's a low C. Let's look at a low C sharp. It's a little bit cut off, but I can tell you what it is. So we still have the same stuff we have for low C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right hand, low pinky key, but also the left hand pinky key on the outside this time. Or if you're looking at it, it's to the right. When you're looking at it this way, it's to the right. Okay. Or I think of it as outside. Okay. So I'll review a low C sharp or a low D flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 1, 2, 3. Low pinky key on the right hand. Outside pinky key. So it doesn't have to cross over anything. Outside middle pinky key on the left hand. Alrighty. It'll get a little easier from here. Low D is just the middle keys, your normal keys. 1, 2, 3 on the left hand, 1, 2, 3 on the right hand. And that's it. It's the only thing that's down. Low D sharp or low E flat, we are doing those same keys. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This time we're adding the right hand top pinky key that you see there. Okay, top pinky key. Don't mix these 2 up. An easy way to remember is the bottom one is for low C. The upper one is for a higher note, which is E flat. So it's a lower note, higher note. So just think which one's lower or higher, C or E flat. Okay. We go to low E. That is just 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2 on the right hand. That's low E. And then low F is just 1, 2, 3 on the left hand and 1 on the right hand. And remember that that's F natural. There's no sharp there. F natural. So it's pointer finger on the right hand for F natural. And that's important because the next note we have is low F sharp, which is also low G flat. This time we've got 1, 2, 3 on the left hand. On the right hand, we just have 2, which is the middle finger. So F sharp is middle finger. F natural has first finger. And for both of them, the left hand normal fingers are down. Okay. Now we've got G natural. This is a low G. All this has is 3 keys down left hand. 1, 2, and 3. And that's it. Low G sharp, which is also a low A flat, is these same 3 keys plus the top pinky key on the left hand, which makes sense. It's like G sharp, G sharp. Okay, it's the top pinky key. Okay, a low A is 2 keys, 1 and 2, and that's it. And I'm going to scroll a little. Now we've got low, so we could call it a low A sharp. Well, I guess this would be middle A sharp or middle B flat. So now we're in the middles. Middle A sharp or middle B flat. They're giving 1 fingering for this. There's another one. I'll tell you what that is. So middle B flat is the same for A, 1 and 2. And then you see a new key here. You see this stack of 3 rectangles in a row, and the bottom one is down. So that is for these right here. And these fall under your hand. So when your fingers are here, this bottom key just kind of rests under your knuckle. So you put your knuckle on top of that and just press it down. Don't pull your finger back like this. Just keep your knuckle over it so that your fingers are like, it's like a magnet. Your fingers are magnetically drawn to the keys. You know, and we want to keep them like that. They just fall right to the keys. Okay, so you just push that down. That's 1 fingering for middle B flat. I'm going to teach you a second one. So your first finger, instead of your first finger covering only number 1, it goes over that and the baby key. It goes in between. The baby key is called the bis key, B-I-S, the bis key, not bisque like the soup, because I have some students who say that, bis. In French, that stands for little b. So it's like B flat. It's like a little b. So that's why they put it that way. So that's the bis key. All right. So that's middle B flat. There are other fingerings. They're not as good. I don't recommend them. But there might be some older books that teach you fingerings that are old-fashioned now. All right, let's keep it going. We're on middle B natural. That's just the first finger. Boom. Middle C is just the middle finger, finger 2. So that's tricky going from B to C. B, C. You've got a finger flip. Okay. Next, we have middle C sharp and middle D flat. This is 1 fingering. There's a lot for this one. And it's literally nothing. There's nothing filled in. You see in the symbols, there's no blackened in symbols. So it's literally your hands free. There are a lot of other fingerings you can add, but I just don't have enough time to go through all of them. But you can get lots of different intonations by using different fingerings. But to start with, just do no fingers. So let's move on to middle D now. You remember low D. Low D is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But this time, see this circle that has a T in it? That's for the left hand thumb key. It's here. So you put your left hand thumb down on that. That's the octave key. And that octave key is going to be down for every note from now on. Okay, so middle D and up all have octave key down. middle C and C sharp or D flat, and down all don't have octave key down. So the saxophone is cut in half that way. Could also be called a register key. So a lot of titles. It could be a thumb key, could be an octave key, could be a register key. It all means the same stuff. So I'll review. Middle D is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 again, and thumb octave key. Okay. Middle D sharp and middle E flat. All the same stuff is down as for D. It's thumb key, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and the right hand top pinky key. Okay, you see that there at the bottom, the top pinky key. Middle E, you've got thumb key, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. All right, it's getting easier. Then middle F, you've got thumb key, then 1, 2, 3, and 1, just the first finger. Middle F sharp and middle G flat, you have thumb key. Then 1, 2, 3, and this time the middle finger on the right hand. Okay, so F sharp is the middle finger. F sharp is the middle finger, and F natural is the first finger on the right hand. All right. Then now we're on high notes. We're on high G. High G is 1, 2, 3, and the thumb octave key. So it's the same as low, you just add the thumb octave key. And it's going to be like that for a while. G sharp is thumb octave key, 1, 2, 3, top pinky key on the left hand. High A is thumb octave key, fingers 1 and 2. High A sharp, which is also high B flat, is thumb key, fingers 1 and 2, and this side key here under your knuckle. Okay, the bottom of these 3 rectangle side keys. The alternate fingering, like I said earlier, is octave key, plus your finger goes in between these 2 keys, putting them both down at the same time. That works well for B flat. The other fingering works well for A sharp. It just depends on the scale that you're in. Okay, let's keep going. High B is just thumb octave key and first finger. High C is just thumb octave key and second finger. High C sharp is just the thumb octave key only. I like to add to that on the right hand 1 and 3, like a forked fingering. Yeah, that softens it a little bit, so it's not so shrill. You know what I mean? Alrighty, now we get into the palm keys on the left hand. These keys right here that look like little teardrops on our symbol chart. So remember, just like before, the way it's organized on this fingering chart is as if you're looking at the saxophone. So at high D, you see the thumb key is down. We know that one. All right. Then these 3 keys, they're kind of organized. It looks like there's 2 on that are like vertical and then another one. But on the saxophone, they don't, I guess they do kind of look like that. So one of them is the highest up. That one's in the middle. So like from low to high, this one's highest, but it's in between these other 2 keys. The one here, this is the one that is circled in, is filled in on your fingering chart. It's the first one your palm hits. So if you're wrapping your hand around, it's the first one your palm hits. Okay, so it's the closest to your thumb. Then the highest one is second. Then this one here, this is the lowest one. It's almost underneath of the highest one, and it's the farthest one away. So like this is the first one you hit, this is the second one you hit, this is the third one you hit. Okay, so for high D, you're doing octave key and the first one only. Okay, so just this one. Okay, Then high D sharp and high E flat. It's thumb octave key plus these two. The one closest to your thumb and the one that's highest up. These two. And it's smart to keep your palm in the same position all the time when you're doing these. So my palm hits this one first, hits here, and then I bring my finger down and I kind of hit it here. But your hands are going to be a different size than mine, so you have to find places that work. So that's D sharp and E flat is thumb and these two. Okay. Then we keep those down for E. So E is thumb octave key and these two, plus on these rectangle keys here for the right hand is this top one. Don't get that confused for one we've used before. It's the top one. So your thumb has to come off of the thumb rest that's down here. It has to kind of be up. At least mine does. Maybe you have big hands. Not me. So my thumb has to come up and my knuckle on the side hits this key. So to review, high E is thumb octave key. These two palm keys and this top rectangle key. There's only one more on this fingering chart, and you keep everything you have before from E. So this is high F. You keep all the stuff you have from high E. Thumb octave key, these two, and the last one. So all three palm keys are down, plus this top rectangle key on the right hand. All right, that's high F. There's one more note you can hit if you have a certain key, and that's this top key. Now mine looks like maybe a boomerang or a banana, and then there's a horizontal one under it. Not all saxophones have this key. So if you only have this one hanging out kind of between where your fingers go and these rectangle keys, if you only have one, you can't do this note. But if you have this one here, if you have two here, you can do it. So while you're playing a high F with all the other keys the same, your ring finger goes down and hits this banana key. Okay, so that's F sharp. I'll review. So for F sharp, it's thumb octave key, all three palm keys, this top rectangle key, and the banana key. If it's shaped like a banana, it might be shaped differently. Could be an oval sometimes. Okay. Alrighty, I'm not going to go into all the side fingerings or the trill fingerings. That's for another day, but I hope this was helpful. And watch each individual note as many times as you need to get it in place. And check your notes with other notes you know. Like if you're playing a high E flat and it doesn't sound right, play a middle E flat and see if they sound like they're the same note but one octave apart. You know, bum, bum, bum. You can check your notes that way. If you have any questions, you can write me. And I hope this was super helpful. Keep practicing a lot, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.